How good is that? Thanks everyone. Anyway, I'm about to hit the trails on a very special ride. I'm about to go on a BMW safari. Not a real BMW safari, just a wild ride with a bunch of boys on BMWs, riding from Sydney to the beaut little country town of Rylstone. So welcome to our very own BMW safari. It's an adventure. But first I needed to pick up my T7. Wife Jackie drove me from Merriwa to Scone, where I caught the country train to Sydney to catch up with my two favourite Colombians, Santiago and his wife Angie, and of course the famous Mahi the Assassin. Once Mahi the Assassin finished attacking Angie and let us leave the house, we dined in one of Sydney's most expensive restaurants, joined by another couple, hello Andres and Lena. And the next morning I left nice and early to meet up with my mate Ed the mechanic. Now, the last time I rode with Ed, you might remember that he took his brand new BMW GSF 900 on the notorious Monkey Gum track. There you go, I think we're all caught up now. And if you're wondering where I got my bike from, well, it's been stored at Santiago and Angie's place for over a year now. And if you're also wondering why Santiago isn't joining me on this ride, well, he reckons he hurt his little backy wacky when doing an enduro ride through the week. Other riders who let me down by pulling out of this ride were Adrian the Pin-Up Boy and our mate Peter. Needless to say, they're all dead to me now as I follow Ed the mechanic to meet the rest of our BMW crew at those famous golden arches in McGrath's Hill. And just imagine my surprise when I met the man responsible for getting me into riding. My mate Dean, the cheeky bastard. There you go, you can blame Dean for everything. So on this cracker day, I left McGrath's Hill with 6 BMW All Stars. Ed the mechanic, Glen the Flash, Jason Bourne, Denis the Menace, Jun, and my mate Richard the instructor, all making our way to the northern outskirts of Sydney to catch the ferry across the Hawkesbury River in the beaut little town of Wiseman's Ferry. And in case you were wondering what I was doing in the town of Merriwa, travelling the over 300 kilometres to Sydney to pick up my bike, well, for the past 15 months, wife Jackie and I have been caravanning around beautiful Australia, having an absolute blast. And if you're interested, you can check out my other channel, Ram Van Man, to catch up on all the fun we've been having on our travels. However, I did manage to get in a few rides over the year, when I met up with Ed the mechanic and Richard the instructor for a 3-day ride where we hit the always tough Monkey Gum track. And of course Santiago and Adrian the Pin-Up Boy met Jackie and I in the Flinders Ranges for 4 epic days of fantastic fun trails. So now that wife Jackie and I are back in New South Wales for a while, it's time for me to ride my mighty Yamaha T7 as much as possible, starting with today. So once the ferry delivered us to the other side of the Hawkesbury River, it would be pretty much dirt from here on in all the way. We travelled through the small and historic village of St Albans, through the picturesque St Albans Commons, as we made our way towards Yango National Park. The Yengo Trail, which takes you all the way out to Putty Road and onto the commissioned track, is notorious for bringing many a rider unstuck. With lots of sand and sharp corners, riders need to keep their wits about them at all times. Otherwise, you run the risk of having a stack. And take it from me, I have seen plenty of those on these tracks. And unfortunately, today's ride would be no exception. But let's not give too much away and let this fantastic ride unfold naturally as I try to keep up with the one and only Richard the instructor. We had almost finished the Yengo track, and whilst we were waiting for Jun, it was here that I needed to do some bike repairs.
How many people does it take to fix an indicator?
Got yourself a nice little splint there.
Wow.
Yamaha splint.
Yeah.
This is a work of a genius.
Only one
You
people.
should have been in the field at Normandy, patching up the soldiers.
Mate, trademark that, mate.
All right.
That'll be a factory fix.
Here's Ed the mechanic
It's back, and it's better than ever.
with his 900 after Monkey Gum. I haven't seen it since.
All the sins have been fixed.
That's right.
New paint, case guards, chain guards, new brake lever. I still haven't fixed the side stand switch, but now some nice new pannier racks, which are also crash bars.
Beautiful.
It's as good as new.
It's got new stickers and everything.
Yeah. Never been off-road.
Replaced a mirror,
Yeah, that's a mirror as well.
and the list goes on. Now, whilst all this was going on, our mate Jun still hadn't turned up. Needless to say, we were becoming a little concerned. And just when Ed the mechanic was about to ride back, these two four-wheel drives rocked up to let us know they'd helped Jun after he'd crashed his bike and that he was okay. Just a little shook up and sore, Jun didn't want to hold us up and asked us to leave him here. However, we insisted that he ride out to the Putty Road with us. That way he could safely take the road all the way to Rolleston. A much safer option than leaving him in the bush. It was here that we left Jun behind, and the rest of us hit the Commission Road, which would take us all the way to Jerry's Plains for fuel. However, carrying a fuel bladder was our lead rider, Ed the mechanic. So halfway along the Commission Trail, we took the opportunity to chuck some extra fuel in our bikes because things were about to get interesting. Now, before wasting all of that fuel that Ed and I put in our bikes by taking a trail to nowhere, we first had to get past a fallen tree. And everybody that knows me knows I f***ing hate logs. This was definitely a job for more than 2 people. And once we were all clear of that obstacle, it was time for Ed the Mechanic's Trail to Nowhere. And consider this, I haven't fueled up since McGrath's Hill, and that precious splash of fuel given to me by Ed the Mechanic would soon be wasted.
Another monkey gun. Hey. That's what I look for thinking. Hey? Another monkey gun.
No, one more drama. What? Put your arms. Look at the camera.
You've got to go across that log.
Yes.
On the back wheel.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us how it's done.
We'll hold you beer.
On this ride, Ed. Yo! Yes. Unfortunately, Ed's Trail to Nowhere was exactly that. A trail to nowhere. Now we had to ride all the way up that big ass hill we had come down. But that's adventure riding for you folks. And if that kind of thing's too scary, you might as well take up knitting. Look, Gate, I've got hardly any fuel.
Hardly, he just fueled you up.
I know, but you know, we just use that. All the way back up the hill we went, using up more precious fuel on a ride where we still had a long way to go before we could exit the trail into civilization. But not all of us got out of that dead-end track as easily as others.
Okay, so we're on an adventure right here. With heads, we've got one not bog, we've got one bog, and we've got one tried to be a mountain goat over here. And this is the road that we're supposed to be riding down. It looks like a creek. What could go wrong? Alright. And now it's time to look at the
Eventually we were all able to regroup and get back onto the main trail, only to be greeted by more obstacles. Thankfully the hard work had already been done because I hate hard work. After that, it was pretty much all smooth sailing. We made it back to civilization where we filled our bikes at Jerry's Plains, and our lead rider Ed filled his fuel bladder, only to have it slide off the back of his bike into his back wheel.
I'm thinking, maybe I forgot to put my cap back on, or... Which way they go?
Well, hopefully they went that way, because that's the way we're supposed to be going.
More drama, Ed can't start his bike.
Hey?
Can't start his bike again. Where'd Richard go?
Bylong.
What for?
That's where we're going.
Yes, that's right, that's where we were going, to Rolleston. And the closer we got, the fewer riders we seemed to be riding with. Until in the end it was just Ed the mechanic and I, dodging kangaroos and cattle on the last dirt trail. And just a little side note, when I was riding up and over the range that brings you into the Bylong Valley, I noticed my bike doing something weird. It seemed to be missing or cutting out as I powered out of the hairpin bends. Strangely enough, it seemed to go away when I got to the top of the hill, so I forgot about it. Don't you worry though, I would come to realise what it was the following day. As for Ed the mechanic and I, we would safely make it back out to the road and into the town of Rolleston to meet up with the rest of the BMW All Stars. Ed had organised a fantastic day's ride and the perfect accommodation at the Rolleston Hotel. And once our bikes were stowed away and we were all showered and ready for a feed, Ed explained to us what happened to his fuel bladder.
I shouldn't admit this, but I am sure I didn't do up the fuel bag and it got munched in the rear wheel today, unfortunately.
How much fuel was in the bladder?
Well, today's rate's about $100 worth, but no, 5 litres. All over the rear tyre.
After a wonderful night of merriment, sadly the following day it was time for me to say farewell to the BMW All Stars. What are you up to? Don't you try and take that T7.
Examine this closely. Wow. This is the best he can do on a winter's ride.
That's when you come from the Flinders, it's not cold anywhere else.
It's not cold anywhere else. Look at this guy. He's dressed to go to Kosciuszko.
Here's our fearless leader.
How's the tummy after that servo chicken?
I survived.
Oh, fine.
I'd eat it again.
Last day of my BMW safari. Last day. The boys are leaving. Now, if you're wondering what happened to our mate Jun, well, strangely enough, he booked his accommodation in the next town of Kandos, so we didn't see him at all. As for me, well, I only just made it back. Remember when I said my bike seemed to be missing or skipping a beat when powering out of the hairpin bends riding up the range to the Bylong Valley? Well, it seems the problem was my rear sprocket. It had less teeth than a meth addict. I'm just gonna make it! Yahoo! This, my fellow adventure riders, was the last hill to home, so you can imagine my excitement when I knew I would make it. The perfect way to finish a fantastic weekend's ride, knowing you don't have to walk home. Woohoo! Well, I just made it back. That's called getting your money's worth. Yes, it most definitely is. So hit the like and subscribe button because I'm artist Wayne Dowson, and thanks for watching, everyone.